Hey, 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 what's up, everyone? It's Kaz, and I am here with RedMonkey. We're going to play some State of Decay Breakdown, and we're going to do a little backseat driver thing. So let's hear from RedMonkey and say what's up.
Hey there, people. How you doing? Nice to be here with my good buddy Kaz. And yeah, we're going to try out something new here. As Kaz says, a little bit of backseat driving. So this is going to be something that we're going to probably put out as a separate podcast as well. So you don't necessarily have to have the video, but videos are great as well, aren't they?
Gotta love the video. So we're just loading up here, and I'm not sure what game this is. It's probably a very well-established game, so I probably have a lot of influence and a lot of stuff to do. So we're just gonna take a look and talk about some State of Decay things. So, as you know, this year, State of Decay 2 is coming out, so we're all anxiously awaiting that. But it seems very far away, and the wait has been quite a bit. So,
The wait has been forever. I second that one.
absolutely. Here we
It's
are,
been how many years? Must be 3 years now, isn't it?
going on too many years.
Too many years.
Yeah. So, can't wait to do some co-oping with my buddies and just do State of Decay things. So, Red, tell me about, when you first discovered State of Decay. How did you get into State of Decay? And, tell me the story of how you kind of discovered it or stumbled on it.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I've always been a kind of massive fan of the zombie genre. Right from kind of like early. Well, there are a couple of early kind of movies like 20s and 30s ones. But obviously, when Romero made his landmark Night of the Living Dead, something I was really interested in, and I'd always kind of been looking for a really good survival stroke zombie game, and I guess there'd been a couple out by then, but I wasn't really that impressed by them. And then I read about this Class 4 thing, and I kind of got interested and started to do a bit of research and came across Undead Lab's name. And having said that, we've still not reached Class 4 yet, but this is this is as close as we got to Class 4. But when I saw it, that it was going to be released on Xbox, I was kind of just like pretty excited about it. But then when I saw they were also going to release it on PC, I thought, well, I'll wait for the PC release. And the rest is history. And I think then it was kind of around about that time. There's a feral over there. I really wanted to do some recording. Could have sworn I saw a feral over there. Maybe not.
I hope you didn't, because I hate ferals. And I have no anything.
And I think that was it, really. I was just looking for some tips, and I kind of came across your channel. And that's where it all started all those years ago, Kaz. And we kind of just kept the contact going, and you gave me some great advice on what to do with YouTube and how to link all of that into Twitter and all kinds of tips on recording. And I just took it from there, and, that's it. And we're into State of Decay, and then we went through Vanilla. And we were both lucky enough to get pre-release copies of Year One Survival Edition.
That was very generous of Undead Labs.
It was, wasn't it?
I think I got like 500 subscribers off of that. So that alone. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
I have a very interesting story about State of Decay. Well, first of all, I didn't like zombies ever. So when I was younger, I hated those movies. All the movies you mentioned, I would never watch them, right? So, I hated anything, even horror movies and horror games. I don't even like them. But I don't know. I was playing my Xbox 360 way back in the day, and watch out. And playing Fallout 3. I played Fallout 3 religiously, right? That's all I used to play. And then my CD-ROM broke. And I pretty much went into depression, and I felt like I couldn't use my 360 anymore, and I really didn't know what to do. So I one day just decided that I have a hard drive, so I could still download games. So let me find a game to download. So I went into Xbox Arcade, and there was State of Decay, like right there. And I said, it's not it's not something I would normally play, but it's small, and I'll just kind of download it so that I can play my Xbox again because I was in withdrawal for like a week or so. And I downloaded the game and I played the demo for just like a couple. It was a demo at the time, right? So um, they gave you a demo so you can try it out and see what it is. And the first couple
Yeah.
times, I went through the game. It was very interesting, something new like I had never played before, and the zombies just
Anything at home I should be
scared
worried
the
about?
shit out of me,
Something
like
just
from
came
a
in from
different
the
level
radio.
type deal because I really hate horror games
How's it
and
looking?
zombies in particular.
I think we're okay.
So I bought it like right then and there. I said whatever the hindrances were, whatever the game had in it, I forget what it was. It kept prompting you, if you buy the full version. So I bought it. It was cheap too, like nothing. A very cheap game, and I think I played it exclusively for like a year and a half. Like the only thing that I had was State of Decay. It was the only thing that I played for like a year and a half. It gave my 360 new life. I was ready to throw it away, and it prolonged the life for like a year and a half. So that's my
Wow.
and that was June the 13th. So it had just released that year on the
Yeah.
5th. Right. So 8 days later, I stumbled on it completely out of nowhere, and what do you know? It became like my primary game. Like that's all I played, and I loved it. And I played it differently though. I played it from a different perspective. People play it as a game, but I felt like these were my people, and I was trying to keep them alive for as long as possible. That's always how I played the game. I played the game as if these were my people, and what would I do to keep them alive? So I wasn't reckless or even playing it as a game per se. It was more like exactly that. I mean, I can't say it anymore. It was these were my people, and I was trying to keep them alive. And what decisions would I make to try to keep them alive? Like, would I joyride and be reckless? And no, I'm like, no, I would never be reckless. If I was trying to keep people truly alive, I would play the game very cautiously, almost timidly. And that's how I played it. I mean, I had the same game for like 2 years, the same save game with the same people for like 2 years. It was ridiculous.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely
other
nothing.
people have made of this game what they will, but for me, it was always keep my people alive. Like if I would lose someone, I would go into mourning for
Oh
like
yeah.
a day or two. Like I was like, wow, I can't believe that just happened. Like it would hurt, you know?
Yeah. Oh, the emotional attachment with the characters is incredible because you invest all of that time building them up, training them, and you put a lot of effort into that, and you really do. You know which characters are best at performing which tasks, depending where you send them, what situation it's is going to be, and you invest so much time and emotional time in training up those characters. So I totally get what you're saying. I'm kind of a little bit probably in between. Um, I do play very recklessly sometimes, and yeah, I've lost quite a few people, but there are people in my game I've had right from the start, and no, I'll send some other guy or some other person I've just recruited from another enclave that's going to be fresh, that I don't have any emotional attachment to, into a dangerous situation, because then the mourning is so much less because I don't really invest time in them.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, there came a point where like I didn't recruit anyone. I just had my guys, you know. Well, I mean, there's a lot of background to State of Decay because some players that have played the game didn't go through. I mean, I went through torture with the game because it was glitched like from the beginning. Remember, I played like
Oh
eight
yeah,
days after release. There was no you couldn't there was no ammo, so ammo was scarce, so I never really learned how to shoot, right? People shooting like crazy in this game, and for me a gun was for a bloater or a
yeah,
screamer. It was not to go out and blast away and do the game as a shooting. And why? Because the game had an ammo glitch, so there were so many glitches and things that people take for granted now in this game that I played. I mean, I had to play and suffer through them, and it really affected my gameplay, honestly, because like I couldn't like I was very excited to get chemical incendiaries but you couldn't use them because there was a glitch. So I couldn't manufacture fire. So that changed how I had to play the game, right? I couldn't manufacture
Yeah, yeah,
fire. I had to find it or open up sacks for it or hope that it made itself, but I couldn't manufacture fire and I couldn't do a lot of other things like the heroes didn't respawn. They said they
yeah,
did, but they didn't respawn. I had to wait like 9 months and play like that. So if I lost someone, they were truly gone. So I didn't recruit people because of that. Like, why would I go look for? I couldn't find Marcus again, so why would I go out and recruit other people, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, there was a lot of things about the game that I played
Okay, now we're gonna kick some
that
zombie ass
really
real
defined
fast
my
for
play
you.
style. You know, whether it was ammo glitch or the snack glitch even. Just imagine people go out and they have tons of snacks, right? They
Yeah,
use the
Hey, let me go
snacks
find some more, huh?
recklessly, right? But I
Try not to
yeah,
couldn't
attract too much
because
attention.
every night it would reset.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, I remember that. You'd
Yeah,
end up with 2 snacks in the locker,
and you'd have
and that
no
would be that.
snacks from like
Yeah,
75, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
This is why I think we all started using vehicles as kind of like extra storage space
and that was
because they,
prevalent for a long time too.
yeah, oh, yeah,
It wasn't just when I first started. It was when the game
yeah,
was in full swing. It had an ammo and a snack glitch. So
yeah.
you know, a lot of these things kind of the trials and tribulations that we went through as early State of Decay players. But you know what? I made it work, right?
Well, that's it. I think we all kind of found our own workarounds, didn't we? And you kind of get into that habit of thinking, well, that's how I've been used to playing it. So it's difficult to change those habits once, if a glitch gets fixed. And I'm always very, very, God, I mean, do you remember the days when there wasn't rucks in trucks? You know, if you picked up
No rucks and trucks. Wow.
if you picked up, a rucksack on your back, that's it. You had to get in the vehicle and drive all the way back to your base to dump it off, and then go back and get the other ones if they're at another location. And if you're talking about right across the other side of the map, I mean, Jesus fuck, that was just ridiculous.
I spent a great many hours, Red, doing exactly that. So I
Yeah.
mean, a
Oh
great
yeah.
many hours.
Feel a
So
lot more confident.
that simple dynamic you're talking about of gathering resources and bringing them home took a long, long time. So people talk about how many hours I put in. They were hours that you don't have any longer, right? You can bring home 6 rucksacks at a time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
imagine I
Yeah.
had to go to Fairfield and bring them back one at a time back to Snyder's. Imagine
Well,
that.
seven if you put one in your back.
Well, yeah, but before that it was one by one.
One at a time.
And people used to say, "Oh, I'm going to put them in the bed. I'll put them right here in the bed and I'll juggle them back." Fuck that. You know how hard that was? That was very difficult. I know people can do it, and people have done it, but 2 at a time, even at that, and then just the chore of bringing them back. You have to drive with the wonky physics and shit. I mean, that
Yeah.
was a feat in and of itself. If you could bring
Oh, yeah.
rucksacks back before there were rucks and trucks in your truck, that was a feat in and of itself. I mean, you were really good. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's just a phenomenal thing. But then rucks and trucks came and Lifeline came and once again changed the dynamic. And if you remember when Lifeline came, there was a change to the game. Like just
Yeah.
prior to that, they made it so that you could bring people. Like you could spend 100 influence and bring a person with you. And
That's
we were
it. Yeah,
very
buddy bait.
excited. Yeah, we were very excited about that. But then they changed the whole dynamic of the way that survivors or companions react when they're with you because in Lifeline they became weak.
Yeah, they did. Very weak. Yeah, they'd go down at one swipe, wouldn't they?
Right. And then I lost a couple people because of that. I was not ready for that. I lost one person directly after the patch because I was not ready for this new reduced. I don't know. I guess they were beefy just prior to that. When they introduced bringing a companion, it was really nice. But then when they put Lifeline in, it reduced them to like sniveling crybabies, and they were dying. And yeah, so there's been a lot of things like that over the years of this game, and I think the last one was really when I was just not really into the game anymore, which was when they redesigned all the levels. All
Yeah,
of a sudden, all the levels were, I mean, capped out at 12 when I was playing, right? I played for a year and a half. It was capped out at 12. So I thought that that
yeah.
was probably the best that, you could do. And then they redesigned the game. And honestly, I was not going to make a run for 99.
No, understandable. I mean, I think for me, on that last update, is just the character kind of animation. There of you running, and everything changed. It was the timing of your special moves and special attacks. The timing of those changed, so it was almost like having to relearn the game to a certain degree. I was going out and doing whatever I did before, and holy crap, it's just like nothing's working. Why am I getting swamped? Why am I getting bitten? And it's because the timing, and even that kind of, even a tenth of a second makes a lot of difference, from rolling away or, putting a special move in. It'd make a lot of difference if you got a horde around you.
No, I absolutely agree. Because what I noticed was as soon as the game had changed, that's when I got Gurabani for the first time. And she's a
Yeah.
full cardio person, right?
Yeah.
But she moved differently. She was slower. She reduced
Yeah.
stamina. Even as a reflex person, she had reduced stamina, and I was noticing that there were changes, right? And I
Yeah.
was complaining about it. People telling me, "Oh, you're encumbered." I'm like, "No, that's not quite it. That's not quite what's happening here. I know that there's like a little bit of a nerf on this character or something that's going on here because it just doesn't react the same." I've been playing for like 2 years straight, right? At one point, it's the
Yeah.
only game I'm playing. So even subtle little things like that were very pronounced to me. And you're right. It's like I had to relearn to play the game again. And especially with the last one that they did, I just was not ready to invest the time in State of Decay after, 2 years straight, let's say. So,
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I totally remember the conversations that are all over Twitter that we were involved in, especially around the stamina drain. That was very, very real when the last mechanics changed, and the stamina drain was really, it was definitely there because I loaded up an old game of State of Decay with one of the characters, and I did a comparison, and I could run pretty much from the west side of Marshall probably way down into the east side of Marshall before I needed to take a snack. Now, I know that was a marathon. I'd set someone as a marathon endurance, but the whole point was if I tried it in the game that I imported into Year 1 Survival Edition, they wouldn't even get down to where you're driving now from Snyder's and they'd be drained of stamina. It was, the difference was definitely a good 10-15% difference in the stamina drain.
I noticed something right away, just not correct, and we still make it do because my powerhouse characters still seem to work the same way. You make do, right? It's subtle adjustments, but at first, everything that they change just kind of irks me. Like I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, what did they change now, or what has broken because
Yeah.
of something that they changed? So. Look, they had a
So-
lot of time to work on it, so I'm hoping that the
Oh, yeah.
next installment is going to be like the epitome of this game.
Yeah,
And-
get us two bitching away here, and that's kind of probably not our intent at all. Sorry if it sounds a bit negative, but I think it's just an observation. We've been there pretty much from the start of the game, and we notice these things changing. I think my biggest fear for the new game, for State of Decay 2, is that we find ourselves on the same map, because I think I would cry if that happened.
That can't happen.
I know it won't, but
No, that can't happen. Although I'd like this map incorporated into it. That would be nice.
yeah, it would be nice.
I wouldn't mind that. So, right, you start off here, you know it. Oh, you're like, not this again. But then the idea is that you have to go to the next town over, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, when you really do truly escape town on the RV rather than just respawning in the same town.
Right. Or something like that, right? That would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
cool. There's the sweep move that I used to love, but now not so much. Another change that they did, they nerfed the sweep move.
And that's it. Look at the animation, the length of the animation on sweep as well.
Yeah. It does the Reggie Jackson. I call it the Reggie Jackson swing. It does exactly the Reggie Jackson swing.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what to expect from the second one at all. I know what I'd like to expect is a release this year. I hope there aren't any delays. I know there's been a lot of kind of talk around that, and I understand why why Undead Labs have been pretty tight-lipped about a lot of things at the moment. You know, of course they have to because they're in partnership with Microsoft, so they have to be careful about what they divulge. So, you know, I get that. But I kind of got this feeling that we're not going to see a release until the end of the year. You know, we're getting on towards the middle of February now. So I think it's unlikely we're going to see a May release. I think that's too soon.
No, well, they said June they're just going to announce. So
yeah, exactly.
It's June.
Don't suppose you've decided on whether we can join you
I
or
got the
not?
feeling it might be a later on in the year release. But, you know, we'll see.
Maybe for the Christmas season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would be a wise move.
That wouldn't be too bad because I'll have time off. There'd be plenty of time to play. That would actually be kind of cool, I think.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to the co-op dynamic of it as well. You know, how is that going to... well, I know how it's going to work, so I know how co-op works, but how is it going to work in this game?
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
Oh, full horde.
Yeah, they're going to burn.
Nice.
Burn, motherfuckers!
Aha. They went down. They went down.
Nice.
Yeah,
I had a question for you, Kaz, that's completely devoid from State of Decay. Your logo that you have for your channel and just about everything that's Lucas BXNY.
Right.
You know, the little guy with the hoodie on.
It's the gremlin, yeah. They call it
the gremlin.
Yeah.
So tell us where that came from.
Oh, okay. When I was younger, we used to do graffiti. I mean, we were graffiti artists, so we did a lot of things, you know, back in the day. So my friend, he got a wall to do. It was a wall. They asked him to put a little mural or a little design on there. And that's what we kind of got our heads together, and that's kind of what we came up with. It was like a welcome to our street. It was right on the corner, and probably the only one that has anything even close to the to a picture of it, or because it's gone now, right? That was many years ago, like 30 years ago. So, and then one day I was looking through an old graffiti book I had with some stuff and etchings and drawings and just sketches and stuff, and there was a picture, and that was the picture, and I'm like, wow, that's going to be my logo, because that was something we did off the cuff. You know, it was like a one-shot deal, and maybe a year or so later they had went over it or cleared it up, because it was pretty sure it was the early 80s. They were doing this anti-graffiti kick in New York City, so, you know, they started to paint over stuff. You know, it was not becoming any more of those type of things. But it was an early mural that my friend did, and it was before they actually did murals and then kind of didn't deface them or paint over them like people are doing murals now that stay there, right? And they're kind of, I guess, protected, I'll say, or just not. But back then, people would do these things, even though we had permission. Then after a while, it went away. But yeah, that was a friend of mine who did that.
Time's running short on some of this.
I don't even think that he's with us anymore. I think he kind of moved on, you know, to other things. And I probably have the only picture of that that's out there.
Wow.
Yeah, I probably have the only picture of that, or the only remembrance of it anywhere. So that became my logo. I had a friend of mine. I gave him the full picture because it was pretty graffitied over, and he kind of touched
Yeah.
it up and did some nice things. So that's
Nice.
my. It's pretty unique. Like you won't find that
Oh yeah.
anywhere, right? So that's my logo.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah,
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 it's funny because you look to today, and then you've got obviously some extremely famous street artists now. Someone who springs to mind would be Banksy, where they're chopping whole walls out and selling that off in art galleries. It's not really, pretty sure, not how Banksy intended his work to be displayed or put in someone's private room somewhere to look at.
right.
It's really for the masses. I mean, there's one of his pieces of art on a street in my hometown, and it's pretty much on a street corner, and it's part of a pub as well. And as soon as Banksy became famous, they put a whole great big frame around this thing and toughened glass over the top, but they've not chopped it out of the wall. They've kept it there, so anyone can go along and see it. And I kind of think that's pretty special. So no one else can graffiti over it, which is good, in case someone's a little bit envious of his work and his fame. But it's there for everyone to see, and I think that's really how it's intended to be, not in someone's private art collection.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.